Hello viewers, in today's video we will do the scavenging, or you can say not scavenging, you can say we will try to find out the reactive oxygen species that are mainly involved in photocatalysis process, and this is very important in terms of mechanism. Okay, and we all know that photocatalysis is a process in which the light energy, so the photocatalyst, for example, if you see here, this is my LDH, so this will absorb light energy and generate reactive species that degrade pollutants. So here in our study, the pollutant is irregular black tea. So the catalyst absorbs UV energy. Okay, you can see this is a UV light, so it absorbs UV energy or visible light and produces electron-hole pairs which participate in oxidation and reduction reactions. Okay, now for the electron-hole pair generation, when the UV light strikes the photocatalytic surface, for example this surface, so it will generate LDH plus UV. Okay, so it will react with the UV and form it will form electron-hole pairs. So the generated electrons and holes further react with oxygen or water or hydrogen peroxide. So here the oxidant is hydrogen peroxide to produce reactive oxygen species. Okay, so the main reactive species involved in photocatalysis are hydroxyl radicals, superoxide, holes, electrons, and these species attack pollutants such as for example, if we have tetracycline or we have dyes and pharmaceuticals, resulting in degradation and mineralization. Now advanced oxidation process or treatment method generate highly reactive oxidizing species, especially hydroxyl radicals. Now UV ultraviolet or H2O2 is a common AOP where hydrogen peroxide decomposes under UV radiations. So when the H2O2 will react with the UV light here, so it will form two hydroxyl radicals. So these hydroxyl radicals are strong oxidants capable of degrading organic contaminants, okay, like tetracycline, bisphenol A. Now the difference between adsorption and photocatalysis. So adsorption removes pollutant by attaching them to the surface. So it's a surface phenomena without necessarily destroying them. Photocatalysis destroys pollutants through oxidation reactions involving in reactive radicals generated under light radiations. So in combined, the removal may occur through adsorption, UV photolysis, H2O2 oxidation, photocatalytic degradation, that is a combination of all the process. Now for example, to do this, what we have to do is we need to have a controlled trials in photocatalysis in order to distinguish between adsorption and photocatalytic contributions. So the following control experiments are commonly conducted. We have already done that. We will show you in the form of Excel also. So we need to have a pollutant only, pollutant plus UV, pollutant plus H2O2, pollutant plus UV plus H2O2, pollutant plus LDH in the dark, and pollutant plus LDH plus UV, and the pollutant plus LDH plus UV plus H2O2. So we need to have all of these. Okay, so we will be subsequently scrapping some of them and show you how does scavenging exactly occurs. So in the scavenging, what we have to do is we have to identify the dominant reactive species responsible for degradations. So we will use the same optimal conditions. For example, if we are doing at pH 6 and we are doing at 10 milligram of this catalyst here and 1% of H2O2. So the typical scavengers are, for example, isopropanol or tertiary butanol for hydroxyl radicals, p-benzoquinone, this is for superoxide radicals, EDTA or ammonium oxalate for holes, and silver nitrate for electrons. So you will see a significant decrease in degradation efficiency after adding a scavenger. So this will tell the important role of the corresponding reactive species. For example, if you are doing at isopropanol and you see a substantial reduction, so you can say the OH radicals are dominant. Okay, so let's start and there is another term also which is called EPR analysis. So this is called the electron paramagnetic resonance, and this is an advanced analytical technique which is used to directly detect free radicals generated during photocatalysis. So this is a spin trapping agent such as DMPO, and this is commonly used to identify hydroxyl and superoxide radicals, and it conforms OH radicals, and the other DMPO OOH, it conforms superoxide radicals. So this is an instrumental technique. We can also perform, instead of that, we can also do the scavenging experiments or scavenging tryout. Let's do these experiments. Now to understand these, because for the scavenging test we are going to use isopropanol, that is 10 millimoles. Now 10 millimoles means 10 upon 1000. So it's 10 into 1 liter. So 10 upon 1000 means 0.01 mole. Now the molecular weight of isopropanol is 6.1 gram per mole. And here the molarity is how much? 0.01, because it's millimoles. Now the weight, and this is the volume, how much? So it is 0.0601 grams, or it is 60.1 milligram. And in terms of the volume, it could be the mass upon the density of that isopropanol. So it's 67 microliters or 0.076 milliliters. So it's, you have to use a micropipette of higher accuracy, or you use the, in terms of weight, it will be 60.1 milligram. For parabenzoquinone, it would be 10.8 milligrams in 100 ml. For EDTA, it is 150. We'll use the same concept, the one we use for the isopropanol. For EDTA, it's 146 milligram in 100 ml. Okay, so for EDTA, and for this one is 5 millimoles. Okay, already we've told you the moles, how much it should be for parabenzoquinone, for these one, and for these one. So for the silver nitrate, it is 5 millimoles, and we know that molecular weight of this is 169.87 gram per mole. So for 5 millimoles, it would be this much. We'll multiply by this, and it is equivalent to either 0.0849 grams or 84.9 milligrams, or approximately we can say that it is 85 milligrams. Now let us do the tryout after preparation of these solutions. Already you know the calculations, so we will skip this step and show you just to add these and do the scavenging tests. Now to add, for example, if we have 1 millimole, okay, of AgNO3, so what we have to do is, you can see here we have 0.1 normal, okay, and this is monoprotic silver nitrate. So we will take 1 ml of 0.1 molar, so it will be 0.01 moles, and that is equal to 1 millimoles. 1 millimoles. So we will take 1 ml of this solution and add 99 ml of the elucidation, that is either tetracycline bisphenol A or EBT. Similarly with, for example, if we have 5 millimoles of butanol, so we will prepare first of all 100 millimoles of butanol using the equation that we saw here, and then we will take 5 ml of that, okay, of 5 millimole solution, plus add 95 ml of the elucidation. With this suit, it will follow, for example, EDTA or AgNO3, whatever, or p-benzoquinone. So we'll make 1 millimole, okay, of this using this equation, okay. So we will take 10.8 milligram in terms of weight, and then add, so this will be 1 millimole. So we will take 1 ml of these, 1 millimole, and then add 99 ml. Similarly with the EDTA also, we will follow the same thing with the isopropanol or whatever scavengers we are taking. We don't have isopropanol, we can take butanol also, or traditionally butyl methyl ether also we can take, okay. But the best recommended as per literature is isopropanol or butanol. Now what we have done to do the scavenging test later, okay, so we will try all, and we will try only for one pollutant, okay, and then show you all the results, and then we will try to compare the control as well as the scavenging. So what changed? So you can see this is 0.1 normal. So 0.1 normal AgNO3 is equal to 100 millimoles, which is equal to 0.1 molar, because this is monoprotic, so it will release only one, okay. And now what we have done, we have taken 1 ml of this and added 2, so this is now 1 millimoles, okay. So we have now transferred this and made it to, we have reduced the concentration of it. Now with this reduced concentration, what we will do, it's not 1 millimoles, it's a reduced concentration. So now we will transfer this scavengers to the EBT. Now EBT here is 20.554, okay. Now we will check that after adding this, what changed. It was 50%, 60%. So the removal has increased or decreased or not. I mean, it is suppressed or not. This is 0.1 normal is equal to 0.1 moles, and this is 100 millimoles. So now from 100 millimoles, we have to go to to 1 millimoles. Okay. So for that, we have added 1 ml and added 90 ml. Rest is 90 ml, 99 ml. So from 100 to 1. We have not to add the 1 millimole. We have to add directly from here. So this is my scavenger. So I will add 1 ml to this solution now. So it should be 99 ml and then 1 ml. So 99 ml of the elucidation, untreated, and then also I will add this catalyst, and then also I will add 1% of the H2O. Now I have added the same elucidation, you can see here, and then I am focusing the light, okay, and now you can see that started to rotate. So I will check this solution after 3 hours, okay, the same condition that I had used for the photocatalysis, okay. So let's see what happens after 3 hours, and we will try the same thing for all the polluted, okay. You can see this is the benzoquinone, okay, this looks like a powder. So I've added 10.8 milligram, and then I will add 100 ml of water and then shake it, and this is like 1 millimole. Then I will take 1 ml of this and add to 99 ml of the untreated ABT solution. Same thing I will do for all the pollutant. Now you can see here the removal has decreased if you compare with the old results, okay. It should be around 20%, but now it shows very less removal. This is the case for silver nitrate. Now we will check for parabenzoquinone. So here we will add 1 ml of prepared parabenzoquinone. This is already prepared. Here you can see. Now I have transferred the whole assortment. You can see here the distillation. This is with catalyst and hydrogen peroxide and also the parabenzoquinone. Then we wait for 3 hours and check the final concentration. Now for the benzoquinone, it's a bit low. It's very high. So it's 20.195. Now after adding the benzoquinone, you saw that it is 20.195. Okay. So it was around 22.274 initial concentration of it. Okay, you can see here this is 22.274. Okay, so now you can see from that it is 20.195. Okay, and initially it was around 20 to 30% drop in the control. We will check and then we will make a plot and show you which is the dominant species. Is it electron, is it superoxide, or is it OH radical? Now we will try the same thing with butanol. To make 10 millimoles, what we have done, as per the calculations, we have added 90 microliters, okay, to 100 ml of the water. And then we have taken around 10 ml to this 100 ml precipitation. And also we will add hydrogen peroxide. Same condition we will follow. The same optimal condition we are going to follow. 10 milligrams of this, and then 1% of H2O2. And then we will pass the solution to the irradiation, lamp irradiation, and then check the final concentration. Now in terms of, this is my iso, this is butanol. So in terms of butanol, this is 19.309, okay, after adding the scavengers, okay, so this is butanol. Now as per the observation, you can see that using butanol, there was no change, okay, but we cannot rule out that there is no hydroxyl radical in the mechanism, okay. In using p-benzoquinone, you can see that there is a separation of around 22%. Earlier, in the control, there was 30% removal. Now it's 9, so there is a difference of around 22%. Using AgNO3, you can see there is a separation of around 24. So using these, we can say that the dominant active species responsible for degradation is electron-mediated pathways, as likely the primary mechanism or the main or chief mechanism or the focal mechanism, okay. But we cannot say that hydroxyl radicals are absent, okay. Now, with respect to the O2, I mean the silonitrate, you can see there is a suppression. With respect to p-benzoquinone, you can see there is the suppression is also significant. So you can say that superoxide radical is also significant, but the most dominant one is the electron pathways. So this is the conclusion for me to find out the scavenger or degradation, scavenging, to show the scavenger mechanism and the degradation pathways for the degradation of any kind of pollutant. Here it was EBT. You can try with other pollutant also using the powdered adsorbent or the powdered nanomaterial. So here the nanomaterial was LDH, plain LDH, pristine LDH.